I noticed the change in her eyes before she even opened her mouth. We were halfway through dinner with our closest friends. 5 couples, laughter, clinking glasses, and the cozy hum of conversation filling the restaurant. But across the candlelit table, Emma's gaze wasn't on me anymore. It was on her phone. Again. She'd been doing that a lot lately. Checking her phone, turning the screen away just a little too quickly, smiling at something only she could see. I told myself it was nothing. That after 7 years of marriage, maybe I was just being paranoid. But that night, I stopped lying to myself. "Everything okay?" I asked softly, my hand resting near hers on the table. She flinched. Not much, just enough for me to feel it. Then came that forced little laugh she always used when she was caught off guard. "Oh yeah. Just work stuff," she said, tucking a strand of hair behind her ear. "You know how it is." I did know how it was. Except Emma wasn't working tonight. She'd told me she'd left her phone in her purse so she could focus on us. So why the sudden texts now? And why did her eyes dart toward the far corner of the restaurant right before she smiled? Across from us, Jason, my oldest friend, was in the middle of a story about his new promotion. Everyone was listening, laughing, but I wasn't. My attention drifted toward where Emma had been looking. That's when I saw him. Man. Early 30s. Athletic build. Dark hair. Sitting alone at a table near the window, swirling a glass of wine like he owned the place. His phone lit up. He glanced down, typed something, then looked directly at Emma. Her phone buzzed. She smiled. And my world, my calm, stable, ordinary world, cracked in half. I didn't react. Not yet. Instead, I forced a smile and nodded along with Jason's story. But inside, my thoughts spiraled. Was I imagining this? Could it be a coincidence? But deep down I knew. I knew the look in her eyes. I'd seen it once before. Years ago when we were dating, when she'd been falling in love with me. Except this time she wasn't looking at me. Dinner dragged on like a cruel performance. Emma kept fidgeting, checking her phone under the table. When she thought no one was watching, she'd glance toward him, just for a heartbeat, and then back at her plate. My heart thudded against my ribs, a heavy mix of disbelief and quiet rage. I didn't want to cause a scene, not in front of everyone. But I also couldn't sit there pretending everything was fine. When dessert arrived, I made my move. I leaned forward slightly and said, loud enough for everyone to hear, "Emma, why don't you invite your friend to join us? He seems lonely over there." The clatter of cutlery stopped. Every head at the table turned toward me, then to her. Her fork froze midair. What are you talking about?" she stammered, her face draining of color. I smiled calmly. Too calmly. "The man you've been texting all night. The one by the window." Gasps rippled across the table. Jason's wife shifted uncomfortably. Emma's lips parted, but no sound came out. The man by the window froze too. His hand went still around the wine glass, his eyes locking with mine. For a long, awful second, the world held its breath. Then Emma spoke, her voice trembling. "Daniel, please, not here." "Oh, here seems perfect," I said, still calm. "Come. You've been hiding something for weeks, haven't you? Secret messages, late-night calls in the car, girls' nights that never made sense." Tears welled in her eyes. "You don't understand." "No," I interrupted softly. "I understand perfectly now." She pushed back her chair suddenly, her hands trembling. "Let's just talk outside," Jason whispered. "Man, maybe cool off a bit." But I wasn't angry. Not in the way they expected. I wasn't yelling. I wasn't throwing anything. I was just hollow. "Sure," I said, rising from my seat. "Let's go outside." Outside, the night air was cold and sharp. The restaurant's neon sign glowed faintly behind us. Emma turned to me, clutching her purse to her chest. "Daniel, I never meant for you to find out like that." I let out a humorless laugh. "That's the part you're sorry about." "How I found out." Tears streaked down her cheeks. "It's not what you think." Then explain, I said flatly. She hesitated. He's just someone from work. We've been talking a lot. Things between us, between you and me, haven't been good for a while. I didn't know how to talk to you anymore. I stared at her, disbelief cutting through me like ice. So you talked to him instead? She looked away. It wasn't supposed to go this far. I took a slow breath. How far did it go, Emma? She didn't answer. Her silence was answer enough. For years I had loved her through everything. Her sleepless nights during grad school. Her anxiety before job interviews. Her quiet insecurities that she thought made her unlovable. I'd been her anchor, her safety net. And now she'd traded it all for him. I glanced back through the restaurant window. The man was still there, watching us like a spectator at a tragedy he helped write. My hands curled into fists, but I kept my voice calm. You're going to go back inside, I said. You're going to tell our friends you're not feeling well. You'll go home. I'll drive separately. Her eyes widened. Daniel. No, I said firmly. You've already said enough tonight. Inside I returned to the table. Everyone went silent as I sat down. Everything all right? Jason asked cautiously. Perfect, I said, forcing a small smile. Just realized I lost my appetite. I picked up my glass of water, took a slow sip, and then turned my gaze toward the man by the window. He froze again, uncertain. I raised my glass slightly in a mock toast and said, To honesty. May we all find it, one way or another. The man looked away immediately. No one spoke after that. When I got home later that night, Emma was sitting on the edge of the bed, mascara streaked, eyes red. Daniel, please, she whispered. I made a mistake. I'll end it. I swear I'll do anything to fix this. I stood in the doorway, taking in the sight of the woman I used to know, the woman who used to smile at me like I was her world. Now, all I saw was a stranger. I don't think you can fix something that's already broken, I said quietly. She stood trembling. So that's it. 7 years gone. I shook my head. 7 years were gone the moment you looked at someone else like that. Her lips quivered. Daniel, I love you. I exhaled sharply. No, Emma. You loved me. Past tense. The next morning I packed a small bag. I didn't take much. Just what I needed. Before I left, I placed my wedding ring on the nightstand beside her. She was still asleep, clutching a pillow like she could hold on to something that was already gone. I watched her for a moment. There was a time when that sight would have broken me completely. But now I just felt free. 2 weeks later I sat in a cafe downtown. Jason walked in, eyes filled with the kind of sympathy that never feels comforting. Hey man, he said, taking the seat across from me. How are you holding up? Shrugged. Better than I thought. Worse than I hoped. He hesitated. She's been trying to reach you. Says she wants to apologize properly. I nodded slowly. Let her. Some apologies aren't meant to be heard. He sighed. You were calm that night. Scary calm. I looked out the window. If I'd yelled, she would have painted me as the villain. But silence. Silence makes people face themselves. Jason nodded thoughtfully. She expected me to fall apart, I said quietly. But I didn't. I just let her see what she'd destroyed. That calm, people said it shocked everyone. But for me, it was the only thing that kept me from collapsing. Because when someone you love betrays you, rage is easy. What's hard is staying quiet long enough to let them realize what they've lost. Months later, I received an envelope in the mail. No return address, but I knew the handwriting. Inside was a short note. I see you in everything. The way I laugh. Places we went. I destroyed the best thing I ever had, and I live with that every day. I'm sorry. There was no signature. I folded the letter and set it aside. For the first time in a long while, I didn't feel anger or longing. Just peace. Because sometimes the calmest response isn't weakness. It's closure. That night at dinner, she tried to shake me, humiliate me quietly, thinking I'd break under the weight of her secret. Instead, I showed her that silence could be louder than fury. And as it turns out, that silence was the sound of me finally letting go.